What's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? This is episode 27 of Hold Us Accountable. Hey, we just gonna brew some beer today, y'all. Let's have a good time. All right.
Thank you for tuning in. I know your time is valuable. There's thousands of other podcasts that you could have settled for, but now you're just vibing with two goofy dudes from Wisconsin who like to discuss their problems and figure out ways to solve them and challenge the listeners to get up out of their comfort zone. Try some shit they ain't done before. This is Hold Us Accountable. Yeah, this is Hold Us Accountable. Yeah, this is Hold Us Accountable. This is Hold Us Accountable.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 27 of Hold Us Accountable, y'all.
Oh yeah, man. We got a fun episode coming this week, man.
Trying to keep it a little quiet. We're in the household of sleeping children.
Yeah, we hope that the sound quality is okay out there for everyone. If it's not, we do apologize. All right, let's kill that mic.
Kill that mic. Kill that mic.
Yeah, we're gonna have echoes going, things up loud. But yeah, we got a fun episode. We're gonna have a beer of the week, and then we're gonna be brewing beer.
Hey, simple episode, man. Simple episode.
And it's gonna be really interesting because we've never brewed beer.
Never brewed
We're
beer.
just following instructions.
We're gonna drink beer and try to brew beer.
Yeah, this.
That's bad.
I can't
I mean, a good mix, bad mix.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I was originally thinking, we'd brew it or we'd go through the whole process, kind of like we did the table. We'd work on the table and then we'd go talk about it.
But I think something we've kind of lacked in our processes of our monthly challenges is getting the process recorded and viewed and seen. So we're in a different spot. We're a traveling stew right now. We're in a different location.
Traveling stew out.
House of Big Tom Wardlow. So shout out Tom. Thanks for letting us hold down the kitchen. And basically we're chilling. We're gonna have some beers. We're gonna brew some beers, and just bear with us with the sound quality and everything. We forgot a few chords, so
but
it
should turn out all right. It should be.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. Just got to talk a little closer to the mics.
Yeah, and I'm going to be kind of going back and forth to my phone to kind of get music playing.
Yeah.
So, fuck it,
we got an interesting process.
There we are. Hey,
here we go.
Taste that motherfucker, huh?
Oh, it's nice and loud. Probably
Max,
can.
talk us into that beer of the week a little bit, man.
We got a great beer of the week coming. A super interesting, catchy, fun-looking can from Sweetwater Brewing Company. Their extra pale ale. It says, "Don't float the mainstream." All right, so drink them if you got them. You can count on this go-to OG pale ale being fresh, flavorful, and well-balanced every time.
Hey, Maximilian, crack me open some of that shit.
I know it, man.
I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to sing, I sing it and beer you drink. I drink beer when I am sad. Because the beer it makes me sad. Now there's nothing left to say. So let's go drink beer.
All right.
Hell
man.
yeah.
And we're just going to be rating this beer 1 through 10. Nothing too
We had too much other shit to think
fancy,
about,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, we're just going to be going straight 1 through 10 on this beer.
Tasty treat we found in a local grocery store. Both of us. What was Super Value before it was? Before it was Super Value. What?
Century Foods.
Century Foods. Yeah, man. That's what I grew up going to right next to my school. But nice.
Sorry, Tom.
But yeah, no, we're drinking the Sweetwater Brewing Company 420 Extra Pale Ale.
Yeah.
And
really
before
cool
I
can.
give you details about the beer that we're drinking, excuse me for looking down at my phone, but I can't remember shit. So we're just going to go off here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sweetwater, if you don't mind. What do you think, Max?
Yeah, let's do it up.
Don't float the mainstream, man. Sweetwater Brewery has been making tasty brews in the heart of the South since 1997, year I was born. 24 years
What
old.
a year, huh? This
Yeah,
beer is
hell
as
of a year.
old as you are.
Hell of a year. The year that Biggie Smalls died, too. I mean,
Oh, that's a tough year, man.
tough
Wow.
year, tough year.
R.I.P., man.
What
R.I.P.
started as a pipe dream of two college buddies has turned into a dream job full of great adventures and lip-smacking beers.
Yeah, we're
Lip
going to find out.
smacking.
We're going to see if it's lip smacking or not. I don't
What
know.
would you expect from a couple of boys with more of a hankering for beers than for books? I mean,
Sounds like a beer for me.
that's what I did in college, but I never brewed a goddamn beer. At Sweetwater, we like to say we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
That's a little overplayed, but all right.
Kind of like that saying.
Well, yeah.
Might be a future tattoo. It's not just something that we say, though. It's how we live. If you're up for a good time, come check us out at our brewery in Atlanta. This is in Atlanta.
ATL.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia beer. A little out of our limits. A little out of our comfort.
I've never been.
I have been. I haven't stayed long. Drove through, but Drove through.
Okay.
Every spring at our Raging 420 festival, or wherever the fishing is good in your neck of the woods. Remember, don't float the mainstream as we all find our path in life.
All right.
Drink them if you got them, man.
Hell yeah. I would have guessed this was like a beer out of out of Colorado, just the way there's like a trout on it, 420.
Yeah.
I
didn't know
green
they.
can.
I don't mean to sound uneducated, but I didn't know they fish down there at Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh yeah, man. We got lakes everywhere.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, I'm gonna switch koozie up.
Let's crack this open, huh? Get a couple. Let's get a first taste in of Sweetwater Brewing's.
Slide it into
420.
our awesome koozie. Shout out.
Shout out.
My awesome aunt. Oh, smells like awesome. Hey, cheers, man.
420 extra pale ale. That is good, man.
Wow.
That's real tasty. Let me tell you what. That's very good. That is a very good beer.
God
Well, that's a
damn,
good
that is an
beer.
awesome beer. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this, bruh.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, this is a year-round brew out of this brewing company. I already forgot the name. Sweetwater Brewing. Sorry. God damn. Shout out Sweetwater. But so dry hopped with a fat stash of Cascade hops, our most popular brew. A tasty West Coast style extra pale ale, insinuated with a stimulating hop character. First conceived in our back cave on 420.
Hey.
Oh, they're little medicined up.
Oh, okay. So it said established 420 on the front of the can. I wasn't sure if that was a part of the name or if it was actually established on 420.
I see.
I guess it actually was. Okay.
This kind of beer keeps the wheels on the bus going round and round. So a little detail behind this beer. It is 5.7% ABV. The IBUs are 39. You can find this beer available in bottles, cans, 12-ounce, 16-ounce draft.
I feel like this would be very good in bottles.
Oh, fantastic. So malt bill, 2-row, Munich, wheat, midnight wheat, hops, Centennial and Cascade.
Which is 2 hops we'll be using in our brew tonight.
That's just wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. And then the dry hop is Cascade, flavor profile, herbal, floral, and fresh. This is the Sweetwater Brewing Company 420 Extra Pale Ale.
That's good stuff.
And it does deserve that because it is a tasty
good.
beer. Let me
It's
put this
very
phone
good.
down. I hate looking at my phone. I hate doing that shit.
right.
It's
You
just
know.
we're not behind our stew,
Yeah,
our
we're out
stew
of our
table.
element
This
here.
is
Out of our
beautiful
element.
can.
Hey,
I
how
like
do I sound over there? I don't have headphones on. Does it
You
sound
sound good.
okay?
Sound
all right?
good. You're
All
good.
right.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see on the playback.
How's it feel talking about the headphones? Probably more comfortable? Less comfortable? To me, I'd be uncomfortable at this point.
It's a little, at this point, it's uncomfortable just because I don't know how I really sound in the headphones. But that's all right. We got to get used. It's not a big deal.
Somebody's got to have them on.
We got, yeah. So
So
no,
we're gonna
it's,
rate this. We're gonna
this
be
is a really good beer.
Oh man, it's
Great. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
I was
no,
just so
no.
excited to say how tasty this
it
beer
is.
was.
So like my first when I opened it, I was like, oh, like this may sound shitty to some people, but like when I smelt it, I was like, that smells like a fresh cut lawn, like a summer, like those first hints of summer, spring smells. Like that was the smell, which is a fantastic smell to me.
See, I don't know if I get fresh cut lawn. Because I have heard...
God, it's a good fucking beer, man.
I have heard the smells of beer be referred to as a fresh cut lawn.
What is it?
But to me, I don't know what it is. To me, so this is... It's very good. To me, it's a little... if there's one critique I have of it, it's a little bubbly.
Little bubbly.
Little bubbly.
All right, a little too much carbonation.
Yeah, a little too much carbonation, but I mean, that's being very picky.
It is.
It's being picky. But because it's like it's so good that it's like, all right, well, there's got to be one thing about it that I'm not the biggest fan of, because there's no like perfect beer, I feel
and
like.
that's good. That's good criticism to get, is when you got to get nitpicky with it.
Right.
Like, I mean, remember that one beer we had? I can't remember what it was, but it was like way too carbonated.
Yeah,
it was holy shit,
bubbler or something. It was like called.
I think it was a bubbler. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I like It's the bubbliness makes it feel like it breaks down in my mouth rather than keeping that crisp note all the way through. If that makes sense, it hits crisp and then it bubbles a lot and kind of breaks down.
Okay, it's not too overwhelming. Not too overwhelming. Just.
But the flavor is very good.
Flavor is fantastic.
It's just a
man.
little bubbly.
Bubbly.
Just a little bit. But I mean,
if you can't handle the bubble, man, don't float the mainstream. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. No,
hell of
and I'll drink the bubbles of this beer any day. Unlike that one beer, it was the beer you took the bottle cap off.
Oh
and
my god! It was like champagne.
Yeah. No, this is not that bubbly, but it is just one thing I noticed while drinking it.
I'm gonna go ahead and give this 7.9.
Oh, that's
7.9.
really funny. You know what the grade in my head before you said that? 7.87.
7.87. Are you gonna stick with that?
I think clearly that's kind of along. We're thinking along the same line, so I'm gonna stick with it.
Go. Can you show the camera this can? So we are drinking Sweetwater Brewing Company 420. Oh, yeah, get up there a little bit, a little more. Yeah, give it a twirl. Oh, a little more, a little to the right. Oh, yeah, man, that's a nice beer. There it is. So we got a 7.87 and
really
a 7.9. That's a hell of a rating for a beer, man.
I love that color of green. It's one of my favorite colors of green.
I'm getting caught up in these.
Very emerald green, and I love the blue and red established 420 sign on the front. It just is a nice contrast.
I don't know why it's so hard for me to remember the Sweetwater name.
Sweetwater Brewing Company.
But a nice can, like you said. You'd imagine a guy out of Colorado who just got off of the creek, catching some trout.
And I mean, it stood out to me when I was looking at the beers while you were off looking around somewhere else in the store. And it was one of the beers that I thought that would be one I think we should try.
God damn, that's a good beer.
It is good, man. Well, let's get into brewing a little beer, huh?
So
should we get into it? Let's get into brewing some fucking beer.
Let's get into a little beer brewing. We're just a couple of beer brewing beers.
It's gonna take about an hour or so, a little over an hour to brew this beer.
Bear with me. We're
bearing. Well,
that is episode
27.
Oh shit!
Man,
time
can't believe we're
flies,
at
man.
27.
That would be episode 27.
Oh yeah, we gotta turn that mic back. Hold on, folks. 1 second over here.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 27. Sweetwater Brewery Company 420. Extra. Yep. Hey. Yep.
I sing it and beer you bring. I drink beer when I am sad, 'cause the beer it makes me glad. Now there's nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer.
I want a motherfucker.
Brewers
right, we can put this mic to the ground.
All right, get that mic out of here. Let's start the process. Let's start this
All right,
process
all right.
up, huh?
So
one of the first things we had to do to get our beer process started. Well, first we got our beer kit through Northern Brewer.
shout out.
It is we got like a starter kit, and we are making a Citra Session IPA.
Hell yeah.
Citra Session Hazy IPA, I think, is the official.
Yeah.
And one of the first things we had to do was get our, it's called a Little Big Mouth Bubbler ready to go. So we had to get the spigot and this ready. And right now we're in the process of making sure that that spigot does not leak. Once we have a firm seal on the spigot here, we are going to be putting a gallon of water.
A gallon of warm water.
Into our fermenter.
Okay.
Once we have a gallon in, we're going to mark off the gallon line, put a cleanser in it to make sure that it's completely sanitary inside of our fermenter.
Because that was one of the biggest things through every step. Everything has to be sanitary.
Right. So we're going to make sure that it is sanitary. So yeah, that is the step we're gonna do right now. Quick, make
All
sure
right.
that this.
Why don't you
thing
give those
is
people a little flash of that hold us accountable sticker, man? And that is that's the big jug we're gonna be using. We got a HUA sticker on there, ready to go. That was supposed to be a sticker for my car, but instead of a 5x5 inch, I got 5 million little stickers.
Hey, live and learn, man. Live and learn.
So we got ourselves a gallon
right.
jug.
Let's find
full
out
of
if
warm
this
water.
thing is sealed up tight or not.
Absolutely. Let's check it out. Mac's going to fill it up. Give it a filly fill. And this is the start to the HUA Citra Hazy Day IPA. So here we go. The first warm gallon of water is going in. And this will kind of base our lines. See what you got. See what we got. We got leaks. Any leaks? All right. Let that sit for a sec. Let that settle.
We're looking good. We are looking good.
All right. All right.
I'm not seeing any leaks at the bottom come through.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we need a marker.
So now we need this piece of tape here.
Oh, piece of tape. Yeah, we do have a piece of tape. We're going to mark our gallon marker.
And we're going to put an arrow. We're going to tape it off and then just put an arrow pointing up to show that.
Here we go. We got a mark over here. Max is going to mark the 1 gallon mark. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the kickoff to our own brew. And hopefully once we get this process down a little bit, we can get our listeners, get our fans a couple of Darskies. So this is a big process episode. We thought it's important for you guys to see that we're actually out here doing shit, getting it done. And that's what we're doing. Oh, 4 arrows for the barb. So our gallon mark is marked. And Maximilian, what's our next step, guy?
We got it marked. Let's see here.
Dissolve. It's our
Yes. So now we are going to be, once there are no leaks around the spigot, make a mark on the outside. We did that. Mix 1 pouch of cleanser until dissolved.
All right. You want to show that? Give that a little glance to the cam. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Perfect. That is our cleanser. We're going to let it toss it in. I'm going to toss these headphones off. Yay or nay? Yeah. All right, perfect. I just want to be... Sound is good. So here we go. We're tossing a little cleansy in. Let it dissolve. And let's check out our next steps.
All right. So, next steps here. He's swinging around front. If your water is good enough to drink, it is good enough to brew with.
Oh.
Fill a clean pot with 1 gallon of cool water. place on stove over medium heat uncovered. All right, let's
All
do
right.
it.
I can take care of that. I'll do that step. I'm actually gonna run to the little ladies' room, and I'm gonna toss this pan full of water.
All right. And so then once this is going, we're going to put this water, this gallon of water, over medium heat. And we are going to fill that up just a little bit more because that's how much. Good. Perfect. That's exactly how much I put in here. Right into the pot. Yes, sir. All right, so we're going to put that water over medium heat. And well, I suppose I could read right off the instructions instead of trying to do it off memory here. Okay. 1 gallon cool water. Place on stove over medium heat uncovered. Over a sink, pour the grains into the mesh bag. Tie a knot at the open end of the mesh bag, leaving room for the grains to move freely. Steep the grain bag over medium heat. Oh, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to get our grain bag ready.
So we got the Citra small batch grains.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Go. We got the grain bag. Give them a look at that. Citra. And so what we are doing right now, over a sink, pour the grains into a mesh bag. Tie a knot at the open end of the bag, leaving room for the grains to move freely. So we're going to start there. Max is going to get them grains into the bag. Hey, before you do that, guy, take a sip of that nice Sweetwater, huh? Shoot some goots. That side. All right, that's close end.
So you'd want to tie the knot at the closed end.
Over sink, pour the grains in the mesh bag. Tie the knot at the open end of the bag. So once you pour it in, tie. Yeah.
I didn't realize there were two. I didn't realize one end was already closed.
All right. It's like a little if you're about to rob a bank, you tie one of these grains. But yeah, there you go. You want me to hold it open while you dump?
No, this is nice and stretchy.
Perfect. Smacks. Oh, look at that. Perfect. We're going to toss this. Still not dripping. All right. So, tie a knot at the open end of the bag, leaving room for the grains to move freely. All right. Next step. Steep the grain in the water while it heats. Set the timer for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the grain bag from the pot. Hold the grain bag over the pot until it drains, but don't squeeze it. Discard the grain bag, then turn stove to high and heat uncovered until it boils.
All right, you want to grab your phone and get a timer rolling for 20 minutes?
I think we can do that
Oh,
right on the Jovan.
You got the wrong burner set there.
Fuck
friend.
me. All right, so we're going to have
That's
to
okay.
wait a little bit while
No,
it
it's
heats.
okay because it steeps.
Steeps.
So we're going to let this
Start
heat.
time. What is that? Cook time.
Now, is that minutes? Or
20
is it-
minutes?
Yep, 20 minutes. No. Yeah. So that's not hours, is it?
No.
Okay. Right. All right.
Wait.
No, you're good. Yeah, keep going.
It might be hours, actually.
Oh, it wasn't. It was
Okay.
counting down. Oh, maybe it is.
Yep. Okay. So we're gonna wind down here, ladies and gentlemen. You bake it. There we go. 20 minutes.
All right.
Steep
now we
it.
let
You
that
gotta
steep.
it. That's steeping like you're making tea.
Yeah, you can just throw it in there.
Oh, you just leave it.
Yep. It'll move around freely. It'll do its thing. It's tied at one end, so there's no grains coming out. So now we wait 20 minutes, and we can just chill, talk, hang out.
All right, let's
20
pull some
minutes
chairs,
here.
huh? Get you some.
Yeah, pull some up
Pull-
here. We
yeah.
can sit in front and
Toss some headphones on. Just
Yeah.
we'll shoot the shit about shit.
yeah. We'll go over next steps. Make sure we know what we're doing. We'll talk a little bit about some of the beer information I've learned researching this. So yeah, this will be great. This will be awesome. Yeah. So Carl's in the restroom here. So we've got our grains steeping. They have to steep for 20 minutes. And while they're steeping, we're just gonna hang out. We've got a 1 gallon of water, cool water over medium heat, and that is what our grains are steeping in. Let's see if. So it doesn't say what type of grains that were being used here, which is a little unfortunate, but I know that we're using a malted barley. I believe they're barley grains. That would be my guess because from the research I've done, it's barley grains are a little darker and they're used in IPAs to give it that, darker color. So yeah, I believe that's what the grains would be using would be barley, but I'll have to double check into that. Headphones are in that box right below you there. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be long enough. We might have to move this whole thing. Let's see how this works here. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Hey,
Back in
Perfect, man. Now I feel comfy.
Yeah, feel like we're back doing this again. All right, we got
Steeping hops.
we're
We got
steeping grains.
steeping grains
Not the hops
right
yet.
now.
One of the things I learned, and doing some research into this process, I wanted to learn one of the first things I wanted to learn was what makes an IPA different from an hazy IPA.
Okay.
And what I found is that it's when the hops are added. So a hazy IPA, the hops are added later in the process.
Okay.
In the boiling process.
All right.
Just a traditional IPA, the hops are added earlier. So if you think about
So the
it,
earlier you add, the stronger your.
exactly.
Okay.
So when you add it later, you're just kind of grabbing the main flavors from the hop. You're not letting it really break down and get the heavy flavors of the hop.
Okay. You saying that makes sense. That makes sense.
So-
The earlier you add it, the more that's fermenting into it, the more it's adding into it.
So since
heavier
this
it's gonna be.
is a Citra IPA, Citra Session Hazy IPA,
Okay.
the last hops we're adding are Citra hops.
Okay. So that's gonna be
So-
the taste,
Exactly.
the twang we get.
Right.
Okay.
And we actually add those hops after the boiling process is completely done.
Okay.
So once it's done boiling, we take it off the heat. That's when we add 7 grams of the Citra hops.
Okay.
So I would imagine that, like, for just an IPA, you probably wouldn't even add those Citra hops. You would just put the hops we have in a little earlier and let them sit a little longer.
Okay.
That would be my guess, but until I start looking into it even more,
Yeah, and I mean
won't know.
the more we play around with it, and the more the next if we decide to get another kit, we'll see how this beer turns out. And then maybe that's when we can start playing around with it. All right, let's add the hops a little earlier. Let's see how stronger it gets, and then the more we can work our way back and get to like Sierra Nevada Torpedo, where we're getting at like 9% heavy IPA. You know, like.
And another cool thing about the Northern Brewer, where we bought the kit from, is that they have all the grains and hops on their website. So we could buy any type of grain we wanted. We could buy any type of hops they have.
Yeah.
So they not only have kits, but they also provide just the straight ingredients for us to brew our own. So now that we have the fermenter.
Yeah, so we can kind of see like the equipment we need.
And now that we have a general, you know, obviously there's more advanced equipment we can get, but now that we have a general kind of idea of the equipment and then the ingredients, we can buy our own ingredients and just measure them out ourselves.
Hell yeah.
And we would need to get, you know, a new grain bag or a steeping bag.
Yeah.
You know, but little things like that, but we have the main thing.
And the cool thing about this whole brewing process is like, I mean, we just dipped into it, but the deeper we get, I mean, we can get grains from different part of the world or the country and different hops from, and then even, you know, like Big Tom, shout out Big Tom, you know, brew our own or grow our own hops and, you know, really get, you know, instrumental about it, creating our own equipment, and it's endless with this process. So I feel like when we have concluded this process, and whether it tastes good or not, I feel like if it tastes bad, we're gonna be like, all right, what can we do to make it better? And if it tastes good, we're gonna be like, all right, what can we do to make it taste better than what it tastes? Like, it's endless, man.
Or make it our own, or how can we use this exact process or kind of these processes, and what can we substitute to make it? Maybe we want to just make a straight IPA. We don't want to do hazy. Maybe we want to go a little lighter. We want to do an amber ale.
Oh,
you know,
man.
we have the equipment now and a little bit of knowledge to just play around with it and see. Because look, I mean, this is going to take us a night to brew, and then it ferments for 4 to 6 weeks. So we could do this once a month. A weekly challenge could be one night brew beer.
Yeah.
And, you know.
And this is the cool, like, I think the coolest thing about this is, I mean, we enjoy our beer taste, you know, like we know what we like to drink. And the coolest thing about this is like, well, let's figure out the ingredients for the ultimate beer that we love. Like it's never endless. There's so much shit that it's basically, all right, we've got a path paved, and let's pave some new paths off that and find exactly what we love to drink.
And that made me think of, we could have our own, not that we could have a HUA hazy IPA. We could have a HUA IPA. We could have a HUA Pilsner. We could have a HUA ale. We could have we could just do a different style of beer at each time we try to brew it, or just try to perfect it each time. So if we like this hazy IPA, but we wanted to make our own HUA hazy IPA, we would try it and then try to perfect a hazy IPA, and then say, okay, we have our recipe. This is how you can make the HUA hazy IPA, and just put it out for the world, or not the world, or whoever wants it. You know,
I'm not gonna lie. So today I was at the gas station. I'm like, all right, trying to pick out a new beer of the week. Want something new. I want something fresh. I want something we haven't had before. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go different. Let's go Pilsner. Let's go an ale. Let's go. And I'm looking at them. It's like Liney's and just normal shit you see, and I'm like, I just want to find an IPA, dude. Like, and eventually we'll find a Pilsner or I think one that I do want to bring on the show for you to taste is Liney's Wisconsin Red Ale, which is one of my favorite beers. But I just the wide variety of taste and difference and different, like different taste that you can get in an IPA is just it's so much more fun to me. Like,
oh yeah, because there's so much variety.
And like it's hard for me to just grab an ale or a pilsner or whatever. Like, it's with an IPA or a hazy IPA or
you can get funky, man.
Yeah, you can get funky, different tastes, man. It's a whole different world, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, because each brewing company does their IPA a little differently. It does their hazy IPA a little differently.
Speaking of that, you need a new Sweetwater?
Yeah, I could have one on deck ready to go. That'd be great. But yeah, each brewery does their hazy IPAs a little differently. They add different hops at different times. It can make a difference. So you could have the same hops but add them at a different time, and you could have different beers. So really the possibilities are endless, and I think that is one of the things that drives this beer brewing, craft brewing. I don't want to say craze, because it's not a craze, because it's actually something people enjoy. It's not just like a fad. I don't think beer is going away anytime too soon.
Oh, fuck no. I don't think beer is ever going to go away. It made it through the Prohibition.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And there's going to be just endless, like you said, endless options, endless possibilities, and anyway, it's if you can get a couple people, a couple companies, a couple bars to buy some beer from you, it's worth opening up a little brewery and to keep something rolling and to give it a shot.
And that's what I love about like the beer culture is like people have like, for me, I don't have a taste in dark beers. I'm not a porter guy. I'm not a dark beer kind of guy, but people have taste for that. People have taste for everything, It's funny because like I'm a heavy Busch Light drinking guy, but that's my regular like just end of the day go to. I just like a Busch Light. I like the taste, but every time we come on the show, it's like we're not gonna get a Busch Light. We're not gonna get just a regular beer like we like and being able like to broaden our horizon brings us to things like a Sweetwater extra pale ale 420 IPA was just like
something new.
All honest, like
a
this
new
is a
brewery.
fantastic beer.
Yeah, and that the great thing, so many different breweries can make so many different great beers. I haven't had an IPA like this. I know in the past I've said I've had a beer that tastes like this before.
You know what this did remind me of? Oscar Blues.
Oh sure.
Yeah, it kind of gave me a little, like the same kind of the same kind of drive for taste. It reminded me of an Oscar Blues as soon as I tasted it, with a different twang to it. But like, I've never had a beer from this part of the country. Like this is an awesome beer. Yeah,
no, really enjoy it. I definitely agree with the Oscar Blues reference. It is different than anything. The dryness, I never thought I don't really like a dry wine. I'm not a dry wine guy.
Yeah.
And so when I saw, a dry IPA, I was like, what is a dry IPA? Is that what it says?
Extra? No, it says
just
extra
pale ale. Excuse me, I thought it said dry.
But
pale
when you
ale,
you say
IPA,
dry, like
what makes it extra pale ale? I wonder.
It's an extra. Did you read the back?
Ale.
Okay, you read the back.
We
of this?
read it. Yeah.
I don't know what makes it extra pale
extra
ale. Like,
pale ale.
All right, let me.
An EPA.
Where's one of these things that know things?
Oh, it's like an encyclopedia.
One of them. It's like, I guess I can put down my smoky device, but no, dude. I'm super stoked about.
All right, so while you're looking at.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no,
explain.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Super stoked. God, I always interrupt you.
I
really
always interrupt you too, so I mean, touche.
All right. Well, Carl's gonna look up what an extra pale ale is. I'm just gonna kind of go over the next steps in this in our boiling or in our brewing process here. So we're steeping our grains. We're gonna let the grains steep. After 20 minutes, we're gonna remove the grains from the pot. We're gonna hold the grains over the pot until it drains. We're not squeezing it, like Carl said. We're gonna just get rid of the grains. throw them in the garbage, and then we're gonna turn the stove to high heat, uncovered, until it starts to boil. Okay, once our water starts boiling, which I hope it's not boiling already. Nope, and I almost took our whole studio down with us. But once it starts boiling, we're gonna remove from heat. We're gonna stir in 1 pound of our Golden Light DME, which is dried malt extract. So we're gonna stir in 1 pound of Golden Light dry malt extract until dissolved. At this point, we will have wort, the brewer's term for unfermented beer. So as soon as we stir this in, we've got wort. And
Not wort. Wort.
Wort. It's spelled W-O-R-T, but it's pronounced W-U-R-T.
Okay.
So it's wort. So this is the brewer's term for unfermented beer. We're gonna. So yeah, I'll just get to that point because I think it's kind of
Perfect.
a cool.
All right. I got about 4 minutes and 30 seconds to read this off. So here we go. I got a whole. Okay. An extra pale ale is not a recognized style category, so the term is open to interpretation. Some brewers use the term for an imperial ale, which doesn't quite fit stylistically into the pale ale or the IPA category, or just for an incredibly hoppy pale ale that has the body of a pale ale, but the taste characteristics of an IPA. Jesus, fuck, that held me up. But the taste characteristics of an IPA. On the other hand, brewers have used the term for ales lighter colored and lighter bodies than pale ales that still have good hop presence. The extra pale ale, also referred to as XPA, session IPA, strong pale ale, and hoppy pale ale, is a beer style that originated about 5 or so years ago. Simply put, the beer is a twist on the traditional American pale ale and falls somewhere between pale ale and an Indian pale ale, also known as an IPA, in terms of hoppy bitterness, aroma, and profile, as well as alcohol content. Extra pale ales are generally bugger than American pale ales, but gentler than an IPA. Although comparable to both, most often the extra pale ale is added to the American pale ale beer style category. As for the alcohol content, extra pale ales usually range from 5 to 6%, which makes sense, since APAs typically range from 4 to 5%, and IPAs typically range from 6 to 7% range. The extra pale ale has a color that can range from pale golden to deep amber and has a moderately large white to off head with good retention. The ale is generally medium-bodied, refreshing, and clear, although dry. Hopped, hazier versions exist. Hops in this key ingredients to an extra pale ale, although it does not have sufficient supporting malt character. So why name extra to the front of pale ale? In American craft beer circles, the term extra is mostly used for marketing purposes. Most believe the extra part of a beer name has to do with the extra pale color, extra flavor, or extra aroma. So I guess the reason and interpretation for these beer styles name is up to the imagination of the beer drinker. Each brewery and brew maker has their own interpretation of the style and produced unique, tasty beers that generally follow the same guidelines. One of the best extra pale ales that generates a great deal of hype is a Sweetwater Brewing Company 420 Pale Ale. Wow. Okay. The brewery has a 5.7 APV in the most popular brew. It's a tasty West Coast style extra pale ale that has an abundance of hops influence due to being the dry hopped with a huge stash of Cascade hops. Was first produced on 420, hence the name. So after all, what is an extra pale ale versus a pale ale? The answer is a crossbreed of many of existing pale ales that each brewer can spice up as they please. In general, a strong hop presence is continuously seen, just as it is in many pale ale styles. So that's funny. That's very, like, this was a random, I promise this is a random article that I just pulled up, and they mentioned the beer that we are drinking right now. That's fucking hilarious. Like that, like they
I heard that. That's crazy.
in this. Okay, so we got 3 seconds. So basically, it's a presence factor. Okay, so timer goes off.
All right, so
Next
we are
steps.
gonna remove the grain bag. We're gonna hold it. We're gonna let it drain completely, but we're not gonna squeeze the bag.
Okay, it is draining.
Just gonna drain it. We're gonna remove. Can you grab me those instructions? Por favor. Letting it drain completely. Set them down. That'd be awesome. Thank you. All right. Grain bag from the pot. Hold the grain bag over the pot until it drains, but don't squeeze it. Discard the grain bag. Then turn the stove to high heat, uncovered until it boils.
All right.
All right. So we're letting it drain a little bit here. All right. We're pretty much.
Crank it high.
Well, let me just give it a couple shakes.
She's on high now, motherfucker.
All right. And we discard the grain bag. Got this.
That's so funny that article just went right to the exact
To the
beer that
one
we are
we're
drinking, man.
Yeah. That's funny. I wonder if like extra pale ales aren't super common, and like this is what beer company.
It might be right.
A weird thing I noticed. So it's an extra pale ale, but it doesn't have as high of an ABV content as an IPA.
Yeah.
So it's an
well,
extra.
it said that like extra pale ales will have in between like a pale ale and an India pale ale.
Right.
So
So
like an extra pale ale will be like in between the two.
Right. So it's not quite as much as an India pale ale, but it still is an extra pale ale. So in my head, I would think it's more than.
I think it'd be like 10% or something. You know what I mean?
But
yeah,
I guess not. I guess what
not.
the f- do I know?
All right, so we're boiling. Or when we boil, what happens after we boil?
Okay, so once we boil, we're gonna remove from heat, and we're gonna stir in the 1 pound of the Golden Light DME, which is the dried malt extract.
All right.
So I got that all
this it?
set up. Yep, but we gotta let it boil yet. Oh yeah, you gotta pull it
That's
up
it.
there.
How did I look? I see it on camera. I got it up there. This is fucking fun, dude.
Yeah, it's like we were saying. It's a little mini science project.
It is. I was never good at science, but when it comes to beer, I will focus.
We just gotta follow the instructions, which
Yeah.
is the fun part. It's nothing too crazy other than just setting timers, making sure you clean your stuff well, and you're. I think another big thing is that everything it was pre-measured out for us, so like we didn't have to make sure we had a pound.
So once
of
like
dried
if
malt
we were
ale.
to get into our own special recipe, say we're past a homebrew kit, then that's when we'd really have to buckle down on measurements and amount of boil and all that shit.
Right.
And then if we want to boil more, then it kind of
you want to
like
double
that's
the
when we
recipe.
Yep,
You want
exactly.
So yeah, no, but this is a great just starter kit
It
for
is.
us to learn.
And this is something I've always wanted to do.
Let me just.
What do you want to do here?
It looks cool. I mean, it's a dark, it's a real dark looking color. Check it out. Smells kind of like bread.
It does smell like bread.
Which makes sense. It is just grain water
It
being
smells
boiled.
like a broth.
Yeah.
Like I could eat that soup. Yeah, get it in there. Oh, yeah. Look at that shit. Can you smell that shit? It's our beer brewing. Yo!
Yeah. So pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen this process be done live.
This is
I've
awesome,
been to
man.
one brewery tour, and the brewery was not
Shut down.
operating while we were going through it. So you
So
know,
we're waiting for it to boil. Take it
We're-
off the heat. Then we're gonna add the Golden Light dried malt extract.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I have no idea how long this is gonna take to boil. It shouldn't take too much longer here, because it's on high, you know.
Yeah.
But and the crazy thing is, like, these instructions on this
Not
page,
too-
that's all
about
we're
it.
doing today. That's all we're doing.
Then we can just sit. We tell.
Actually, no, we do have to turn it over and do a little transfer, pitch yeast, and
Yeah.
clean up,
Which
but
is
not
awesome.
not too much more.
I'm not excited for the end. I want to keep going.
No, yeah, but I mean, but in terms of like complicating, like, are we like, you know, it's not like we have a still and we're letting, you know, we're trying to.
Yeah, we probably sit down for a little bit.
Yeah,
Though,
that's what
she
it's.
boils.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not as complicated as like having a still, and trying to moonshine up some whiskey or what the.
It's moonshine.
Yeah, make moonshine. But did I ever tell you? So I had a buddy who had a still. He likes making whiskey, and he was transferring his still from like his parents' house to like his place where he was living. And at the time, this dude was driving a Corvette, and this still
It's
is
the
like
worst possible vehicle to transfer in, probably.
Yeah, so of course, I was just hanging out with this dude at the time, just at his parents' place. We were just hanging out. And he goes, "Oh, can you help me, like, bring some stuff back to my apartment?" Because our apartments were just across the street from each other. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And he's like, okay. I got, like, half of this still you need to take back with you. I was like, what? You want me to take half of your still back? Aren't, like, stills illegal? I can't, if I get, like, pulled over and I'm caught with half of
It's
a
like
still.
prohibition.
And it was
again.
like good, like high quality copper still, like copper tubing and piping
shit.
and like the worm or whatever that goes down and it cools.
Yeah.
All that, whatever it was. So he was like, yeah, you can have this stuff. You just tell him it's a decorative piece or whatever. And like, it's like, okay. So yeah, I transferred a still.
Hey, look at you. You're like, you lived back in the Prohibition times.
Call
my
me
man.
Al Capone.
Al Capone.
Well, actually, no, he died of like syphilis, I think. So don't call me Al Capone.
I didn't know you could die of that shit, man.
It was some
Rubber out,
disease.
buddies.
Yeah.
God damn.
But yeah, let's it's got a little ways to go. It's bubbling. I just got to move something. Something fell over here.
All right.
Dangling.
Oh,
There we go. We're golden.
mic props.
We are golden like our dried malt extract.
Oh man.
But
Perfect.
no, yeah. So what?
We got a lot
So
of.
we're learning a lot about beer, man.
We are.
We are
dude. This
learning
is
a lot about beer.
Totally like foreign episode for us. I mean, from the old cabin to the beer stilling, beer brewing kitchen. I'm happy, dude. This is awesome. This is like the fact that we're brewing our own beer right now. It's exciting.
we're
It's
doing it.
electric. It's awesome.
We're getting close. It's close to boil. It's
Close to boil.
I think so.
All right.
You know, it's
I mean, we have like so. Besides we're focusing on brew. I have a joke of the week, and then we also have just a little tiny Packer talk to just mumble about for a little
Sure,
bit whenever
yeah.
we have time to.
we'll have time.
All right, so
Yeah.
we'll get into that, but I mean, I hope whoever's listening and watching, like especially watching, like we're just trying to show you guys what we're doing because this is awesome to us.
We're hanging out, brewing beer, drinking beer.
Awesome fucking Sweetwater Brewing Company extra pale ale.
Trying to educate on a little beer.
Yeah, man.
You know, some of the other things I've learned other than the hops is what makes a beer, you know, a darker beer. So like I said, the IPA, a hazy IPA versus just a regular IPA is when the hops are added. But how to get to just the IPA part itself is the type of grains that you use to brew the beer. It's not so much the hops, it's more the grains. So I believe we're using barley grains. I believe that's what I've found is what makes an IPA is barley grains are a little darker, a little heavier. Rice grains are like a snappy flavor. They don't really add a whole lot of body to the beer, but they kind
Like
of
a lighter,
yeah.
more pack a punch taste kind of beer.
Yeah, or not even
kind of bullshit right now.
Yeah, see, and again, I'd have to look this up on my phone, which is the GoPro's on right now, and if you exit out of the GoPro, it turns the recording off. But anyway, so there's rice, corn, wheat, barley, oats.
Okay. We gotta be boiling.
We're getting close. All right. I'm pretty sure this is boiling. Yeah, it's boiling.
Straight bubbles.
That's boiling, huh? That's boiling. We got bubbles rolling. Yeah, that's boiling, right?
That's a goddamn boil.
All right, so now we're going to remove from heat. All right, we're going to turn this off.
All right, we're moving from heat.
Okay.
Turn heat and cover. All right. 0.35 grams of Wait, where am I? Remove from heat, stir in 1 pound of Golden Light DME until dissolved. All right, so we're going to add the Golden Light Breeze Golden Light dried malt extract. That is what we're doing right now. Here we go. Until dissolved. Now you have wort after this. This is oh my god, look at this process.
All right, so we have stirred in the Golden Light DME. It is dissolved here pretty much for the most part, and now we have wort. So now we've got to get it back to boiling. All right, it says return pot to stove over high heat and resume boiling. All right.
All right.
Make sure that's completely
Actively
dissolved.
monitor foam. When foam rises, reduce or remove from heat until foam subsides. So we're going to get it back to a boil until that foam accumulates and rises. So we're back on a boil. Going to try to get it back to a boil.
We're back on high heat.
Starting to smell like a little bit of a beer out.
It does, man.
I like it.
So now we've got wort, man. This is unfermented beer. We've got it. We've got unfermented beer in our pot right now. It's pretty cool. So we've got it over high heat. We're going to get this thing back boiling. And, yeah, the big thing is we're going to monitor the foam. And what we want to do, we want to try to keep it we want to get it to a point where the foam is just staying at an even level. It's not rising a bunch. It's not... It's if it starts to rise a lot, we got to reduce the heat.
Yep, so it subsides.
We got to let it just get to a rolling boil, so it's not coming up over the pot. It's just at a steady boil. So that's what we're aiming for right now, is to go for a steady boil.
So soon here we're gonna have 45 minutes to.
Yeah, we're gonna have 45 minutes to
shoot the shit.
Shoot the shit. I mean, throughout this process, so 45 minutes. And then, at 20 minutes remaining, so we'll have 25 minutes to shoot the shit, and then we'll have 20 minutes. At the 20-minute mark, we got to add 7 grams of the Cascade Hops, and
10
then
minutes
10 minutes
remaining.
after that. So yeah, so once we kind of get to this to the point where we've got a good boil going,
Shoot some shit.
yeah, be able
And
to
I
shoot
mean,
some shit.
not only do we have Sweetwater Brewing 420 beers, we got some all-day IPAs.
We do have a couple in there.
We got some Busch Lights.
Speaking of those, can you hand me my? Or speaking of the 420.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, look at that little handle.
Hey, what a badass koozie you got, man.
Oh, this is the coolest koozie I think
Let me transfer mine.
I've ever put a beer into, and I love it.
Shout
so
out,
much.
NA.
Shout out. I really do love this koozie, man. I really, really love this koozie.
I'm not gonna lie, best koozie I've ever had.
I think so, dude. The liner is like it's like
a cooler.
It's like a cooler liner.
Cheers, Danny.
Cheers to NA. Thank you, NA.
You are much loved.
Or the MVP of the HUA Productions.
Oh, we get into a boil here.
Oh yeah, we'll get it to a boil. We got to get it to that steady rolling boil.
Steady
is what we're
rolling
shooting for.
boil.
Steady
Boil.
rolling boil. We want to make sure that our foam is consistent here. We're actively monitoring our foam. When the foam rises, we're going to reduce or remove from heat until foam subsides. We're going to adjust heat as necessary to maintain a slow rolling boil. Yeah, something I think I've said about 800 times in the past 5 minutes. But it just that also helps just remind myself mainly. It's mainly for me. It's not for the listeners. It's mainly for me. Try to remember this shit. That's the fan. Yeah, careful. Put your finger in there. Interesting. I think it sucks air out. It's like an exhaust. It's like an exhaust for the. So like if you're cooking something and it's like smoky, it'll grab the smoke and push it out of the house. Oh, we're getting to a boil here. We've got a boil. All right, we've got a good boil. Let's see. Actively monitor the foam. So we're monitoring this foam. We've got a pretty good. So once we get it to like a good, because we want to we don't want to keep it at high forever. So we're gonna
make
slowly,
sure it's like a balanced boil.
Right. So we're gonna slowly reduce the heat. I think.
Oh man, it smells good.
It really
It
does.
Smells good. You guys smell that? Some of that. Get some of that. Some of that. Get some of that.
It really smells like just someone's baking bread.
It does, dude.
It's making me love beer even more.
Oh my gosh.
So we're getting it to a boil here. Honestly, the foam is not really rising or going crazy. We might have it at a good steady. Might let it go for a little bit longer here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
set the time.
So we're
foam rises, so I think you want the foam to rise a little bit.
So should we
you
put
want a
it
heavy
off?
boil to get the foam to rise and then
Okay.
subside.
All right, so let's crank her back up then, huh?
And get that foam rising, and then let that foam subside. Adjust heat as necessary to maintain a slow rolling boil. Set timer for 45 minutes and add 3.5 grams of Centennial hops.
Hey, you want to grab the 3.5 gram Centennial hop package? Should be right on top there.
Here you go, my bud. Show that to the cam.
Just got to have it ready and on deck.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Got to have her ready to go. Honestly, man, the foam is...
I think if it's sitting, then
We're gonna just kinda
let it ride, bruh.
Turn this down just a little bit, 'cause we want a
Alright.
slow rolling boil, right?
Slow rolling boil.
We don't want it to be a crazy rolling boil.
God, dude, that smells fucking good.
Okay,
Smells
so we're
like it's just like a good
like a bakery, right?
bakery, dude. It smells really nice in here.
All right, so let's get our timer set.
All right,
Let's do
cook time.
Cook time. We got
Pull it down.
45 minutes, right?
Yep.
Oh.
There you go. All right, before you start it, add it.
Add the hops.
Yep. I know. So Max is adding the hops. I like it. Starting. All right.
We don't cover this, do we?
Again, actively monitor the foam and adjust heat as necessary. With 20 minutes remaining, add 7 grams Cascade hops. So, at 24 minutes.
At 20 minutes remaining. So at 20 minutes, once there's 20 minutes on there. So we got 25 minutes to mess around.
Oh, okay. All right.
We just got to make sure once that hits 20, we're adding our 7 grams of the Cascade hops.
Well,
so let's grab the 7
over
grams.
here. Get those ready to go.
Beautiful. We got
Cascade.
7 grams Cascade.
Let's go. Now let's shoot some
And
shit.
we just got to hang out, man. So obviously the big news, we're recording, hold us accountable, episode 27, being recorded out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. AKA Title, Wisconsin. Title Town.
Frozen Town.
AKA the Holy Land. AKA...
Brew City. That might be Milwaukee.
Nah, fuck Milwaukee.
Brew Town. Brew Town.
AKA just a lovely place in the
Amen.
great United States. Kind of rhymed. And the big news, obviously, is A-Raj was on the Kenny Mayne show. A-Raj being the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. We're Green Bay Packers fans. We do a little Packer talk every week on our show. I say we get into it just a little bit. We got about 25 minutes to talk about it.
Bullshit ass. I'm not going to say that. That's...
I don't know. Say what's in your heart, man.
I wasn't bullshit ass interview to me, man. It was wasted. It was unneeded. It was nothing new. I was disappointed and pissed off. I was upset with. I'm a Rodgers fan, but he seemed more of a over hype diva douchebag than I ever have seen him to be before.
Yeah, it was a weird interview. I understand it was Kenny's last show, and dude, honestly, I really do love Kenny Mayne, and I love everything that Roger said about Kenny Mayne.
Absolutely,
is 1,000% true,
yeah,
and Kenny Mayne really was that dry humor to such like an it was like every highlight was like a huge dunk, or everything was like over the top, and Kenny just brought that like dry undercut sense of humor that would just make you go, all right, yeah, they're being a little too much, like Rogers is just sport.
made it so fucking Hollywood,
but he made it weird. I agree.
That's
made it
what
weird,
it was
man.
to me. It was such like, okay, he paid his tribute, which I have respect for, but like Kenny Mayne even said it like, hey man, that that's not what the people are here for, like, and I know that's I've seen several interviews with Kenny Mayne and Aaron Rodgers and the way they roll with each other, but like Rodgers made it his own. It wasn't Kenny Mayne, it was his last show. He deserved his spotlight, his time, and Rodgers interrupted him. He told Kenny Mayne to let him finish, and that's what pissed me off, where it's like, no, Kenny, let me finish what I'm saying. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do this. Let me do that. And it's like, Rodgers, we're not fucking here to hear you praise and fucking be Hollywood. Give us something. And that's what I felt like. It was so fucking petty, and it was just I don't know, dude. I don't know. It was unsettling to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. What you were saying made me think like Rodgers would constantly say like, Kenny, I'm here for you, and obviously, Kenny did a great job, kind of asking him tougher. I didn't think he would ask him any tough questions. I really didn't think he was going to ask him tough questions. I thought they would reminisce about their previous commercials they did on ESPN together. I Thought they'd reminisce about, interviews they've done. I did not think Kenny was going to ask him tough questions. And, to Kenny's credit, he did. He did it in Kenny's way. He didn't stray from the Kenny Mayne way of being dry, of cutting to the point, but also saying, like, I am joking around, and if we don't get to the exact answer I'm looking for, cool, but I am asking you a tough question. So I respect that, but at the same time, Rogers would say, look, I'm not here for me, I'm here about you.
Show.
He wanted it to make about Kenny, but then at the same time, like, he kept just throwing these ambiguous statements out. Like, it was basically confirming all the reports that have already been out there. And I think if Rogers really wanted to do Kenny Mayne a favor, and he really wanted to make it Kenny Mayne's last show, he should have came out and with a with a succinct statement of, yes, I want to be traded. Yes, I'm not playing, or yes, I'm not playing for the Packers, or yes, I want to play for the Packers, but these three things are what's holding me back, or yes, I want to play for the Packers, but it's Gutekunst I want out, or no, I don't want to play for the Packers. Like, give us one, just if you wanted to give him something. Like you said, he constantly was saying, this isn't what the people want to hear. So
he answered 0 fucking questions on that interview, and he played like a fucking playboy the whole time, where he was in fucking Hawaii. He had his fucking jeans hanging up behind him, his long fucking greasy hair, and he was acting like a fucking playboy the whole fucking time.
I agree. I do agree. I don't know if he was actually in Hawaii yet. I think he might have pre-taped that.
No, it was in Hawaii. I mean, okay, was in Hawaii, like I'm saying, but like what I had heard is from shows, the Pat McAfee show that I watched before. It was Rogers was in Hawaii for that setting.
Okay.
It was 5 o'clock out there, 11.
He wanted to just be chill.
He's been out there.
But it definitely was pre-recorded, though, right? Like, I'm pretty sure it was pre-recorded.
I mean, you would imagine so.
So yeah, that was the only reason why I was like, was he in Hawaii yet? But it makes sense that he would want to be in like a chill environment for that.
I mean, just to me, it's just like I root for Rodgers. I want him on our team, but the deeper and deeper it gets, the more selfish, and maybe not selfish. I don't know. It's just like, I get the whole situation, man. I get it. I fucking get it, man. I want you to be a part of the conversation. I want you to have a seat at the table, too.
Right.
Because you're the smartest fucking quarterback Green Bay has ever seen. I see that. But the Hollywood in you, the fucking... I have never thought that way until the interview I watched.
Right, I agree.
It fucking switched my fucking... everything I thought about this, man. Like to me, it was like, you know what? If you went on that interview and talked all that shit you said and just said, I'm done at Green Bay, I would have been like, well, right. That fucking blows. But all right,
but I know where
I'm on your side, bro. I get it. You should have a say at the table. You should be able to say what receiver you want there, what coach you want there, because, or at least an input, but. It just seems at this point that he's just out there like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna vacay. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna relax. I don't give a fuck. Like, fuck it. And it's just like, there's a lot more hanging on this than you fucking like believe to see, dude. Like,
yeah, and I think one of the things we were talking about driving over here was the fact that, you know, the front office, so that being Mark Murphy, the president, Brian Gutekunst, the GM, and Russ Ball, the negotiator, the money guru, those three guys are dictated by a board of directors. So it's not like Mark Murphy's the president, but there are people above Mark Murphy. There's a board of directors who tells Mark Murphy where they want the direction of the team to go.
And that's the problem.
And the board of directors wants profit. So as long as the Green Bay Packers are a winning, moderately successful organization, the board of directors will make money. Money will continue to roll in. They will continue to sell out Lambeau. They will continue to build up the Titletown district. They will continue to compete for NFL draft hosting spots. That is what the organization of the Packers want. And I think that's what Rodgers was getting at, was saying, look, it's not about building a building. It's not about building events and fun things around the people who are on the ground level doing the work, are winning games, are putting their safety and livelihoods on the line. It's about those people who are sacrificing that themselves for the board of directors to make money. Now, yes, those players make a lot of money and they get paid well, and they're not like held captive by this board of directors who's overseeing them. But at the same time, when you're a quarterback and you're thinking, I want to win, and I'm looking across from me and I see a 45-year-old winning, and he's got a team for him throwing all the resources they can at him to win right now, he's saying that's what I want. I don't want to win, make sure we win now and 4 years from now and 5 years from now and 6 years from now. I want to make sure we win right now, and I get that 1,000%.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I 100% understand that. But at the same time, each NFL team is a different organization. It's a different company. The Cincinnati Bengals do not have an indoor practice facility in the middle of winter in Cincinnati when it's snowing and it's shitty outside. They have to practice outside because they don't have an indoor practice facility. Do you see Joe Burrow boycotting?
They also don't win.
I understand that, but at the same,
yeah.
So maybe they should be boycotted. Maybe players should boycott.
But I mean, when you talk about that factor, like, Burrow isn't.
No, I know. But
Okay,
what I'm
continue,
saying, that organization has been doing that for so long.
Yeah.
They've been shitty for so long.
Carson Palmer
and Carson Palmer held out. He
Yeah.
did. He tried to do this. He tried to make a change, but the San Diego Chargers had a stadium for so long. They wanted to be out of that stadium forever. So I guess what I'm saying is no place is perfect. It just so happens that Aaron Rodgers was playing at the same time Tom Brady was playing and won 5 Super Bowls with New England and became the most amazing quarterback, the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think if Tom Brady and let's start with this, if Peyton Manning never went Colts to the Broncos, if Tom Brady never went New England to Tampa Bay, would this be going on?
Probably, but not to this extent. I think it would. You saw it with Favre. He wanted Randy Moss in here in Green Bay, and we refused to give up any draft picks for. I think the Patriots.
That's a whole different ball.
No, but I'm saying the Patriots.
I didn't even know that. Actually.
The Patriots traded like a 4th round draft pick for Randy Moss. Like we could have gotten him. You're telling me if we
is that like to the extent to Julio Jones? Do you put that at the level?
It's close, but it's tough. Moss wasn't quite as old as Julio Jones is, but now players are playing longer, so it's how old? He's like
Julio
34
Jones
years old. He missed 7 games last year.
How old is Julio?
34.
34.
And he missed 7 games last year. He didn't play a full season the year before that.
Okay.
I don't think he played a full season the year before that. So, yes, I would love to see Julio Jones in here, but for a 1st round draft pick, I would probably say yeah. For 1 year, if it was just straight up the 2022 1st round draft pick for Julio Jones, I'd say fuck it, give it a shot.
And that's where I'm at right now. I don't think I was too young through the Favre era. Trust me, I was old enough to remember and embrace him leaving the retirements and coming back and going to the Jets and then especially going to to the Vikings. But I mean, it to me this isn't the same, because Favre held out, and this is where it holds different to me, because Favre retired. Favre decided to retire.
Right.
And then when in that process, you get to OTAs, you get to training camp. If you have a guy like Favre and he's holding out, well, then you have to move on to the next guy. But right now, it's a different circumstance to me, where it's not, the Packers aren't holding out, but they are in a certain way that's deeper than deeper than we know. I guess the whole situation with this is like, nobody fucking knows what's going on.
Right. So wait, I got this. I got a thought in my head, and
Okay.
I'm not asking you like you'll know this.
No, ask me.
But my thought was, what if the Favre thing? He waffled back and forth between retiring and not retiring. Between I want to play, but I don't want to play. My body's done. No, I think I can still do it. I wonder if the organization, when he was going back and forth, and they just came to him and said, "All right, Favre, we want 2 more years out of you. We're gonna give it like hell. We're going to push everything we have for 2 more years. Can you give us 2 more years? We're going to go out. We're going to try to acquire a veteran wide receiver. We're going to try to do X, Y. We're going to sell out for 2 years, and we want you to go out on top. And after 2 years, if you go out on top, that's the best case scenario. If you don't and we blow it, but you know what? We tried like hell. And, maybe we have to sacrifice another 5 years to get back to being moderately successful. But you know what? It's worth it for 2 more years with you. I wonder if he would be going back and forth between retirement. I feel like maybe he saw and looked and said, man, this team, we're right on the edge, but they're not willing to go all in for me. So should I come back and put my body and health on the line for an organization that's like, we love you, Favre, because you sell tickets, but we're not going to go and get you all the assets you need to win. So maybe he goes, well, I don't want to play then. I don't want to play for this organization. I'll just retire. But then he goes, I am a competitor. I love football. And God damn it, those fans have loved me since the day I beat the Falcons or the Bengals, I think, when Mikowski went down and I came in, and they've been behind my back, so I want to play for them. Fuck the organization. I'll play for them. So maybe that is where some of it came in. I don't know.
When Favre left, he didn't have an Aaron Jones. He didn't have a Devontae Adams. He didn't have a Jair Alexander.
No,
he
but
didn't
we
have a number 1 offensive line.
No, but we just came off losing an NFC Championship game. So maybe
That's true. Was that the year we lost to the Giants?
Yeah.
When he threw a pick?
So maybe he was like, okay, well, we made it to the NFC Championship game. Yeah, we got this young guy behind me, but so now they're kind of like, well, we're not going to.
I guess we did have Al Harris. We
had
Charles
Ryan
Woodson,
Ryan
Grant. We had.
I don't think we had Woodson yet.
Woodson wasn't in yet.
Because I don't think we had Woodson until Rodgers was a starter. Yeah, I mean we had Greg Jennings, we had Donald Driver. I don't believe we had Jordy yet.
No.
But we had a team that went to the NFC Championship game. So again, maybe it was that thing where Favre got so close and he said, or he looked at the team and maybe, I don't remember, I would have to go back and look, but maybe we didn't re-sign some of our veterans that we could have, or we didn't go out and get a free agent that we could have. And Favre said, well, I'm retiring then. Like, if you're not going to do anything for me and you're just going to let me sit here and be an 8-8 football team, then I'll retire. And they said, no, come on, come back. And he said, all right. And then
And who's been there the whole fucking time?
Well,
Mark Murphy?
No, he wasn't the president then.
That was
it was Ted Thompson was the GM. It might have been Mark.
Mark Murphy was.
I don't know.
No, I
I'd
think
have to,
Mark Murphy was in 2008.
Yeah,
It wasn't fucking who brought him in.
Why
can't I remember his name?
I don't know.
It
wasn't Bob Harlan.
No.
It was.
It was fucking.
We got 5 minutes left here.
Ron Wolf.
He was. I don't know if he was he was the president.
No, not Ron Wolf.
Because Ron Wolf was the GM before Ted Thompson, I believe.
Is it Harlan?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I mean,
either way,
where I sit, like, I guess is where I sit. Like, I don't like. It's so hard to sit and have a fucking opinion because we don't know what the fuck
at the end of the day,
because
at the end of the day, it is tough to have an opinion because we're fans. We don't know what's going on at higher level meetings. Obviously, we're a bunch of fucking stooges. But anyway, but we all we can do is sit back and look at what we see and say, this is what we see. This is what we have seen. This is what other teams have done. This is what other organizations who have owners have done. Like, because if you're an organization that has one owner and he tells the GM, I want to win right now, that GM can't be like, well, let me build for the future. The owner will get that GM out of there. It's like,
So let me ask you this. Okay, the history of the Packers. I mean, the reason the Packers stayed alive was the people of Green Bay. When the Packers were falling, not the owners of the Packers, not the GMs, not the fans, the people. That's why we are the owners. We kept them alive. That is why the history of the Packers is the way the history of the Packers is because the fans and all of us kept them alive. And I take pride in that we are the owners. But I am coming to the point where I do think, like, we need a fucking owner. So I want to ask you this, because this is something I have thought of. Do you take away that ownership from the fanhood, and you bring on a person who maybe is a guy who is prideful of Titletown, of the frozen tundra? Would you rather have an owner or
as right now it's not great. But it's because and I don't mean to say it's because of Aaron Rodgers we're having this conversation, but it's worked for so long, and I think it's at one point, at one point, long time ago, the Bengals were in a Super Bowl. Long time ago. Bengals played in a Super Bowl. They got their ass kicked by the 49ers.
When was that?
This was before you were born, before I was born. This was like in the 80s. I could be wrong. Sorry. I got the draft stuff wrong. Elton Jenkins was not drafted in the same draft as Jair Alexander. He was in the same draft as Rashawn Gary and Darnell Savage, so I was a year off. But anyway, I realized that on my own. But anyway, I could be wrong about this. I got a minute and 30 seconds here.
Let her rip, titter chip.
But the Bengals were in a Super Bowl one time, and then after that, they've been in the playoffs like a handful of times and have won a playoff game like 2 times in like 40 years.
Where are you going with this?
The Packers have had sustained, consistent success since Brett Favre was here. So would I trade? So Brett Favre won a Super Bowl in his second year, right? Or third year, whatever it was. It was very early on in his career.
The Packers in
92, he won in 95, 96 season. So it was like 4 years. And then they went to Super Bowl after that.
What about Rodgers?
He went to back-to-back Super Bowls. So would you take those back-to-back Super Bowls in the early 90s and then a drought for 30 years? Like the Bengals, like literally that's what they did. They were in a Super Bowl and then they were in it. Now they've been in a drought for 20 plus years, at least 20 plus years. So would you take that or what the Packers have done over the past 50 years? I'm not saying one way is right or wrong. I'm just saying there's two sides to it. Yes, they haven't done things the best way and they haven't treated Rodgers like the superstar that he is, and they haven't built around him the way that a lot of GMs or owners would think they should. But at the same time, if you risk everything and then you're shitty, yeah, thanks.
All right.
What do you want? Like, what's the best way to do it?
All right, we're going to shut down this Packer talk for a bit.
Well, no, we're just adding. So right now we're just adding hops, and then it's got to sit for another 10 minutes. So
we're back to.
So we are adding 7 grams.
Give that camera a little
of the Cascade hops.
Down. Bring it down a little bit. Show it. Oh, yeah. Look at that shit.
So we've got 7 grams of the Cascade hops.
All right.
Okay.
Roll it up, smoke it. Cascade hops. When the timer goes off, add 7 grams of Citra hops.
Nope. So we're at, with 20 minutes remaining, add 7 grams of Cascade hops. With 10 minutes remaining, add 3.5 grams of the Cascade hops.
All right.
So we've got 8 more minutes.
All right.
8
Let me
and a half
get this
minutes.
on deck.
Yes, please.
Citra?
Nope. The
Cascade.
Yep. The Citra goes at the end. So yeah, that's So it's.
I guess as a Packer fan, I get so fucking hyped about it because I'm just the drama. Like, it's a reoccurrence, I guess, where it's like, why is this happening again? I get it. I guess I understand it, but it's just win now. Like, take advantage of this last year Rodgers contract. You know, like, get as far as you can. If you don't make it this year, then like let's do this bullshit, this drama, this trade drama. Let's do that at the end of a contract. Let's fill out the rest of his time. Let's do what we can to make it. And I guess this is like the front office side of me where it's like, build it now. Build it. Let's do it this year. Let's see what we can do this year. You know, we got one more year. This is the end of his contract. Let's see what we can do.
No, he's got 3 years. He's got 3 years left on his contract.
Oh, there's 3 more years.
He's got 3, but
holy fuck.
He's not guaranteed, so he could be cut at any time.
So what's this June 1st bullshit then? Like that's
once
trade
June
deadline?
once June 1st rolls around,
so I keep Max around, ladies and gentlemen.
The value of Aaron Rodgers' contract and the ability to trade him evens out.
Okay.
So once June 1st rolls around, if Aaron Rodgers is traded or cut from the team, it doesn't cost them as much as if they would do it prior to June 1st.
Okay.
So a lot of people think, well, if they're going to do anything, it's got to be after June 1st because that's when it's most effective for the Packers. And you know, like, you're not really, like, he might miss OTAs. Like, that's, no team is going to be like, well, we got to get our starting quarterback in for OTAs. You want to make sure you get him in at least before the mandatory mini camps. And then when the money situation becomes feasible for both ends. So that's why people want to do it after, or they think it'll happen after June 1st. But, I mean, I personally think they're going to let him – they're going to say, look, you are under contract. Yes, you aren't – Rodgers wants guaranteed. He wants the franchise to not be able to cut him at any point and say, you had a bad year, we're moving on. He wants the stability. He wants the reassurance. He wants, like –
and he wants a seat at the fucking table.
At the table.
Man.
He wants to be able to say, these are the receivers I like. This is who I want in there.
I like my quarterback coach. I like these wide receivers. These are
Yeah.
the weapons I'm looking forward to using.
Personally, I don't. Maybe the wide receiver thing, I could see him being like, "Hey, I like this guy. I don't like this guy." As far as the coaching staff goes, like, there.
You mean even his quarterback coach?
I mean, if
That's his guy. That's his guy. That's the guy he works with. That's an MVP quarterback coach at the end of the day.
no, it was the quarterback coach before this.
Before.
It was last season. It was the season prior to his MVP
Okay.
season that they got rid of him. They brought in a new one this past year. So,
Well, what's a okay? Can
I mean,
I ask?
I
What's
don't-
a quarterback coach to a 34-year-old MVP?
that's what I mean. Like, Rodgers, like, is it that?
I mean,
I don't think that-
relationship.
I really don't think the quarterback coach thing was that. Obviously it plays a part, but I don't think he's like, you got rid of the quarterback's
You know,
coach.
one thing like that's been brought up to light, the Jordy Nelson thing. I didn't realize, a lot of talk. Like, I didn't realize how much Jordy wanted to stay in Green Bay before he got traded out to the Raiders. Like, things like
Dude.
that. Like,
Jordy was. I'm sorry,
was-
I love Jordy, but he wasn't good anymore. He was washed up.
but he was willing to play for nothing.
I'd rather give a young guy a shot.
Okay.
I mean, like, again, this is from me thinking
No,
as a GM.
yeah, no, but
not
that's what I'm
thinking
at. That's what I'm asking. I'm
Exactly.
not looking to talk to a
No,
GM.
yeah.
I'm looking at your mind.
I'm thinking from a perspective of, look, I'm trying to build a team. I'm building. I gotta build a team, and
But also when you look at a Jordy, it's not a guy who we can put on the field and make plays, a veteran who can coach up MVS, a guy who can coach
you
up.
had Devontae. You had Randall Cobb still there. Both those guys could
Okay.
do a good enough job.
Okay,
That's my thinking. Is like,
yeah.
do you need a third guy that can help younger guys along?
What about Kumaro? What do you think about that?
That's a little bit.
I fucked with Kumaro.
I mean, yes and no. Like, Kumaro didn't really do a lot on
Do you
the
think
Bills.
it's friendship?
It's not like he was
Do you
like.
think it's friendships for Rodgers? Do you think it was like, oh, this guy's my buddy? Do you think it was like,
Well, okay, here's it was the Kumaro thing. It came down, the roster spot, I remember this. It came down between Jake Kumaro and Malik Taylor. Malik Taylor's about, again, I could be wrong, 3 to 4 years younger than Kumaro
where's
and
he at?
much more athletic. Kumaro's on the Bills, and he didn't do.
Where's Malik Taylor?
He signed his restricted free agent tender. He's on the Packers. He's still a part of our receiving core. But so what I'm
On
but,
the fucking
no, he's on our 90-manner. He's got a roster spot. He played in he scored a touchdown in the playoffs last year.
what game?
It was either the Rams game or the game before it. Like
Is he 19?
86.
Jesus Christ.
19 is St. Brown.
St.
Equanimous.
Brown.
So what I'm saying is yes, from Rodgers' standpoint,
What's our time limit here?
we got about a minute and 40 seconds left.
Okay.
So yeah, from Rodgers' standpoint, he wanted Kumaro because he's the reliable guy. He's older. He's more of a veteran. He understands Rodgers, and he gets. And I get that. I think we should have kept Kumaro. I'm not saying like Malik Taylor's better or he would have made things better.
Or at least before letting go of Kumaro.
Just say, hey,
Hey,
Rodgers.
Rodgers, we're thinking about letting
But-
go of Kumaro.
But also at the same time, maybe they did tell that to Rodgers. Maybe. We don't know. And Rodgers just went to the media and said, I love Kumaro. But the whole time he knew Kumaro was going to get cut. So we don't know. It could be that the organization came to him and said, this is what we're doing. We're sorry if it's not your
This is
thing.
why I fucking hate this whole situation,
because
man.
it-
Even when Rodgers
don't
came
know.
out in this fucking interview, it's like I left that interview with Kenny Mayne saying, "What? Why? What? Like what? Nothing changed. Nothing.
Nothing.
No. Nothing. How
Nothing
like
changed.
this is the biggest drama fucking situation,
Yep.
and nothing's changed. No answers, no questions have been answered. Like, I guess I'm tired of it. I want to just play football, dude. I want to know who I'm rooting for.
And we've got like 190 days until we actually play football.
Am I wearing 10 or 12 this year? Let me know.
We're going to find out. But first, before we find that out, we're going to be adding 3.5 grams of Cascade hops.
Let's get that in there. Add that shit in. I was just talking into my beer can. I still am. Smells like a goddamn good soup.
All right, so we've got our 3.5 grams of the Cascade hops.
Toss it
Let's
in.
see. When the timer goes off, add 7 grams of the Citra hops, turn off heat, and cover the pot. Okay, so again, we're doing a hazy IPA, a Citra session
Hell yeah.
hazy IPA. So with a hazy IPA, the hops are added more hops are added post boil than a normal IPA.
Yeah.
So once this is done boiling, we are going to add 7 grams of a Citra of the Citra hops.
Okay.
So that's why it's a Citra hazy
Hazy,
IPA
okay.
because those are
Citra HUA Hazy IPA.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because those are the hops we're adding. Once it's done boiling, it's gonna grab the most of those. Just like it's not gonna boil it down and get like those heavy flavors of the Citra hops. It's just gonna grab the light notes of the Citra hops.
Yeah.
It's gonna grab the citrus flavors,
Citrus.
the piney flavors.
The
It's not gonna grab the
piney.
heavy flavors. Exactly. So this is cool, man. I really
This is
enjoy
awesome.
doing this.
It's a pretty like good process, easy understanding, easy
Yeah.
kind of step by step.
We're just hanging out,
talking
relaxing.
fucking pack, brewing beer.
Um,
I'm gonna take a hazy IP leak.
Absolutely. Yeah. So while Carl's taking a leak, we're just gonna kind of quick go over the next steps in the process. I know I just talked about adding the 7 grams of the Citra hops once it's done boiling. But what we're going to do after that is the cooling. Cooling process is described as this. So we're going to place a covered pot in the sink. We're going to fill the sink with cold water and ice up to the height of the wort in the pot. So we're not going to go higher or lower. You know, we're not just going to fill up a little ring around the sink with cool, icy water. We're going to fill up the sink right to the level of the wort in the pot. And then we're going to set a timer for 30 minutes. And while the wort is cooling for that 30 minutes, we're going to start decontaminating some of our other instruments in the process. So we are going to put the lid on our bubbler here. Right here. We're gonna put the lid on that bubbler, and we're gonna swish around the water that's in there because it has the cleansing solution is in there. We're gonna put the lid on. We're gonna shake it up. We're gonna make sure the lid is fully cleansed and cleaned, and all the spots inside of our fermenter are cleaned. Let's see, what else are we doing? We're going to then empty the solution into the pitcher, and so we're going to get rid of all the water. And we need to find a pitcher. We might just have to cut the lid off of our didn't think about this. We're going to have to just cut the lid off of our gallon jug here. So maybe I'll do that right now. But we're going to empty the solution into a pitcher, and we're going to put the lid back on our fermenter. We can dispose of any solution that will not fit into our gallon pitcher. And then we are going to soak the airlock, rubber stopper, scissors, and yeast pack in the cleansing solution. Oh, we're going to soak the yeast pack in there too. Interesting. Okay. So I suppose I'm going to have to get our gallon jug ready to hold scissors, a yeast pack, and our What else is going in here? Airlock and a rubber stopper. That shouldn't be too hard. That'll be all right. We'll figure that out. No problems here. But, so yeah, we got about 5 minutes left until we're going to add the last of our hops. And we're going to turn off the heat and cover the pot. So, this is we're coming up to the end of the actual, like, boiling process of getting, you know, the water and the grains and the yeast and the hops mixed together. I'm going to kind of pull it up here, kind of show you what the pot is looking like.
Smells good.
Smelling like a bakery in here.
It smells like a goddamn bakery.
Look at that.
Boil.
Pretty cool. Fun stuff. Bag it up.
Bag it up.
Sure.
Alright,
All right, I'm going to run to the bathroom myself quick. Gotta
Alright.
take it over.
Taking her over. Set my headphone up. So we talk Packers. I mean, we've been brewing. It's been a hell of a brew process. Something new. Totally different spot, man. This is awesome. It's something new, something fresh. Hopefully this all works out for us, man. So I'm gonna try a new. I got my vest koozie of the week. Shout out. Unzip. All right, give me a sec. Ah. All right. We'll do a hazy all day. Ah. Oh, Max is back. Turn up the radio. Blast your stereo. Yeah. So we are brewing the Hazy Citra Karma IPA. Brew is boiling. We got 2 minutes 30 seconds left. And then Max, what's next on that list? Add a little more
We are going to add the last of our hops and remove from heat, or turn the heat off. I don't think we're removing from heat. We just turn the heat
Just turn it off.
and cover the pot. So we got to get our cover ready here.
All right, cover ready.
Another thing I got to get ready is, so we have to cleanse our scissors.
Okay.
We have to cleanse our yeast. We have to cleanse our rubber stopper.
Go.
We have to cleanse a yeast packet. Has to be cleansed.
The outside.
The actual packet.
Okay.
And we have to, our airlock has to be cleansed as well.
Okay.
And it's
So we'll explain what the airlock has to do with the situation.
yeah, that won't come into play until closer to the end here, which
is
yeah, that won't come for a little bit yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get
It's
there.
actually a pretty interesting little device that lets like CO2 out but doesn't let air in.
Okay.
So it's like it's something that Northern Brewer uses in their kits. That's unique to Northern Brewer, I believe.
Okay.
So
maybe in one of our next time waiting,
we
I
can
can
talk
tell
about it.
I can tell joke of the week.
Yeah,
joke
that'd be
of the week.
great. Let's see what's coming up because we got the minute mark up here. Yeah. Okay, actually, so we're gonna need to get this ready because
Right,
what's
what are we
gonna-
getting ready?
So what's gonna happen next? So we've got 40 seconds here. So when the timer goes off, we're gonna add the 7 grams of the Citra hops. Turn off the heat and cover the pot.
So this,
Get this on deck.
show that. Citra Hops.
Citra Hops, 7 grams. So again, we're adding 7 grams at the very end when
And-
it's done boiling.
Yep.
The other, I think we've added 1 7-gram Cascade hops, and the other 2 have been 3.5 grams. So we're adding a good amount of hops right at the end. Again, that's why it's a hazy IPA. So once that's done, we got to get it cooling. So we're gonna have to fill the sink.
Okay.
We're gonna have to fill the sink with ice and water.
All right. Let's do this. We're both gonna turn off our mics. You guys are gonna have to watch as we go.
All right, so we are transporting our mixture here, our wort, into the sink, getting it ready for the cooling process. We're only going to be filling the sink up with ice and water up to the level of the wort in the pot. So Carl's going to come over and start pouring ice into the sink, and he's going to want to pour the ice just under, so it's halfway around the pot. And here we go. All right. Looks great. We have got our wort cooling in the sink with ice. We're going to put a little bit of water in here, according to this thing, I guess. According to the instructions, we're just going to fill it with a little bit of water just to get it real cold. You know, that's probably
Nice and
good
toasty.
there.
Nice and frosty.
Nice and cold, you know.
All right. Here, I'm gonna get that camera up top, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got this moving. We're going to set a timer for 30 minutes here. Oop. All right, so now while that's cooling for 30 minutes... Oh, those dirty dishes. And there it is, right there. Hey-o, we got our wort cooling in the sink with ice and some cold water. So we got 30 minutes. While this 30 minutes is going, we have to start a decontaminating process. So we are going to put the lid onto our fermenter here.
Max is swirling. Let me know what to say. swirling the cleansing solution around in the big brew barrel. We leaking?
I think from the top.
Okay.
Definitely not from the gas.
Okay.
It's just from the
All right. All right. All right. All right.
Okay.
Gets it on tight. Max's muscles are too strong for Max's muscles, so we are looking for a shirt. I got a shirt. Okay.
But actually, before we do that, this thing.
Ooh, what are you doing with that?
You gotta get it ready to put all the shit inside of it.
All right, so we're getting ready to put all the shit inside of the 1 gallon jug that needs to be cleansed. So the rubber stopper,
The
airlock,
the active
the active yeast,
yeast,
our scissors.
Yep,
These 4 things are about to be cleansed.
So we're going
So I'm going to step out of the way for Max to start cleansing. Correct? There you go.
cleansing solution has to be poured back into here.
All right.
So this is gonna be the tricky part.
All right. Do you need help?
I might.
All right. So I'm going to put the phone down. I'm going to help Max get the cleansing in.
Ooh, getting it out is gonna be tricky here. Why did I just do this? There you go. Sorry, Tom.
So right now we are dumping the scissors, the what are we all the active yeast, the rubber stopper, and our airlock all inside of this milk jug full of the cleanser to make sure it's fully sanitized from head to toe. Ensure contact with all surfaces. Most important thing is to make sure everything is cleansed, man. Even the package of our active brewing yeast. Even the package, the outside of the scissors, everything, head to toe. Next step. Max dries his hands.
Okay, so now I'm pretty sure we can, once that stuff is cleansed, we should probably get like a paper towel or something, just take everything out.
Okay.
Put it on like a spot where it won't get disinfected again.
Okay.
And then we'll have
Paper
until
towel.
just the timer goes off until, we have to make some moves here. So Carl's setting up our spot where we will put our cleansed items onto. Hell yeah. All right. So now, Carl, if you want to take those items out of the cleansing solution and just put them on the drying paper towel spot there.
Believe
All right.
that is it.
That is
for
it. And
that.
then you can just dump out whatever water is in there. Just dump that out however you need to, and then that can just get thrown out.
Okay.
All right. So next steps here, buddy. Once our timer goes off, so we got about 22 minutes, we are going to take the sanitized fermenter on a so we're going to put this the fermenter and our cooled pot next to each other. We're going to remove the lid from both our pot and the fermenter. And we're going to gently pour the contents of the fermenter. Here, take your mic back here. We are going to gently pour the contents of our pot into the fermenter. And we are going to be leaving most of the solids from the pot into the pot. So we're not trying to put all of a bunch of the hops and grains and whatever solids are left in our pot. We don't want all of that in the fermenter.
So
as
the
best as we
fermenter
can.
is
The glass
okay.
jug.
Okay. So
And apparently we're not rinsing it out. Whatever cleaning solution was in there is what.
okay, so
Is it good to
there's
go?
no sort of filter or anything. We're just
Correct.
trying to.
We just want to get as much of the wort into the fermenter or get the wort into the fermenter, leaving as much of the solids, grains, hops behind in the pot.
Okay.
So from that stage,
I think you got a joke of the week.
yeah. Oh yeah. We got 20 minutes, man. So absolutely.
Pull up a chair, man.
Tried drinking out of the microphone for a second.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that. So in the time being, I'm going to tell you guys a little joke of the week. We usually like to tell dirty jokes. I shied away from it.
Oh yeah.
Let me get back into it.
I think we know.
We don't need to shy away no more. And then I'll tell you guys a little bit of the process of me trying to get our new weekly challenge desk game back in action. So I'm going to start with the joke of the week. So one day at the end of class, little Johnny's teacher asked the class to go home and think of one story to be concluded with the moral of that story. That following day, the teacher asked for the first volunteer to tell their story. Little Susie's raises her hand and says, "My dad owns a farm, and every Sunday we load the chickens on the truck and we drive into town and sell them at the market. Well, one Sunday we hit a big bump and all the eggs flew out of the baskets onto the road. When the teacher asked for the moral of the story, Susie replied, 'Don't keep all your eggs in one basket.' So little Lucy went next. 'My dad owns a farm too. Every weekend we take the chickens down and we put them in the incubator. Last weekend only 8 of the 12 eggs hatched.' Again the teacher asked, 'Well, what is the moral of that story?' Lucy replied, "Don't count your chickens before they hatch." Next up was little Johnny. And he says, "My Uncle Ted fought in the Vietnam War, and his plane was shot down over enemy territory. He jumped out before it crashed, and he could only take a case of beer, a machine gun, and a machete. On the way down, he drank that case of beer. Then he landed right in the middle of 100 Vietnamese soldiers. He shot 70 with his machine gun, but then he ran out of bullets. So he pulled out his machete and killed 20 more. Then the blade on the machete broke, so he killed the last 10 with his bare hands." The teacher looked at him, a little shocked. After clearing her throat, she said, "What could possibly be the moral of that story?" Little Johnny replied, "Well, don't fuck with Uncle Ted when he's been drinking."
No, sir.
No, sirree, Bob.
That's a good one. I've heard that one
God damn
before.
it.
I love that joke.
Hell of a story. But hey, Max, so we got a new drinking game coming ahead of us. Not drinking game,
do.
a new weekly challenge
Activity
Or decider,
yeah,
determinator.
We were originally thinking about, just buying a little handheld desktop bag toss. That's what we were thinking originally. Little desktop bag toss. We'll just buy something. No big deal. $10, whatever.
Yeah. No, sitting at my shop at work and looking up desktop bag toss. Kind of got to thinking. I mean, I work in a wood shop, and I'm like, why spend $20 when I can just make the fucking thing, man?
Hell yeah.
So, started sawing up some wood and putting some sizes together and shit, and I think I got it pretty well figured out, man.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, the prototype looks nice. Let me tell you what, you've done a good
and the
job on
prototype
that.
is the main item. Not 100% executed yet, but
it'll be ready to go by next Monday, right?
110%. I mean, I did this in 30 minutes today, so I got good plans for it. So
we'll have a beautiful desktop,
and I got all the bags
toss.
for it and shit.
Got
so
the bags, we got stickers to put on it. We could maybe we could get some spray paint cans and just have a little fun of our own on it one day.
Hell yeah,
or
man.
Paint or sharp. I don't know how.
Get some HUA, get some things.
We could just buy HUA stickers to put on anything.
You mentioned HUA stickers. I mean, I ordered one big one for my car, and I ended up getting about 75 little ones.
Yeah. Gotta read the fine print, apparently.
Yeah, I did not do that, but I well executed this HUA mini desktop bag toss.
Yeah,
I like well put together.
Should he pull out
Yeah,
some
man. Yeah, dude. I'll pull out
bit?
prototype. I'm gonna say right now the holes for the bag toss not executed
Not
where I want
perfect.
yet, but they
Not
will be.
perfect.
I'm gonna fix them up. So I'll pull out what I got.
They're work in progress. It's from what I can see here, they look real nice. Let me tell you what, for handmade desktop bag toss, man, it's pretty.
So
cool.
I looked up.
Pull it out. Let's get it out.
So I pulled up. So it's the regular size for mini bag toss.
Let's see here.
10
Oh,
and a half inches wide by 15 3/4 inches long. All right, so that's the base. Okay, that's the base right there. Hey, glued
Base.
and screwed.
Glued and screwed.
So this is my first attempt at my top board. So if you hold up that,
topsy turvy.
that'll fit. That'll be nicely. Look at this. There you go. So put that See how nice. See how my measurements are. This will sit, and it'll be glued and screwed right on top of the base. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at how perfect that is. So that'll be glued and screwed. Zit, 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 all the way around. And these are my back legs right here. So back legs sit 6 inches. Okay. I actually haven't fitted these. Whoa, a little tall. This might be a little tall. Alright, back legs at 6 inches, and then my front legs 3 inches. Oh, actually not bad. So I don't think it'll be that bad, man. Alright, put it on the side. I actually want to see what that 6 inches looks like. Put it on the inside. Ooh. Alright. And then, and then 3 inches.
So you're gonna have to cut them at an angle, right?
The bottom of the feet. Oh man, those actually might not be too sharp.
Yeah, once you get the bottom part.
Yeah. So we got some mini bag toss. So I'm working on that. New
bag toss.
New
It's
weekly.
gonna be nice. We're gonna play a round of bags.
Round of bags.
Once a week to determine who gets to roll the dice for our weekly challenge grid.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep roughly the same activities, the same ideas, the same principles for our weekly challenge grid. But instead of playing cribbage once a week and seeing who has the most points at the end of the hand, we're gonna play bag toss and see. Are we gonna keep score?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll play to 21.
Okay.
And then we can play like best 2 out of 3.
Best 2 out of 3, and
Yeah.
then who's ever winning after 2 out of 3.
So we'll
is the
play
winner of
through
the
one
grid.
game, play one game through 21. Then we can kind of see how long that first game takes us.
Yeah, get a good idea of.
So we'll play one hand. We both get to toss once.
Right,
Whoever wins that toss.
And we're gonna do a we both start at one end, toss down,
Yeah.
and then toss back.
Yep.
And that's gonna be 1 week.
1 week.
And then who's ever winning at the end of
Rolls dice.
Rolls the dice.
And rolls the dice. When we say rolls dice, that's we have a bracket for what we're gonna do for weekly challenges. And I think these weekly challenges will be on top of what we're gonna do. Well, I mean, I guess for brewing, basically we're just letting this brew sit.
We're gonna let this brew sit. Maybe we can. We got stand-up comedy coming here pretty soon. We got to start researching open mics. We got to start researching.
And maybe
are we gonna be driving to Appleton? Maybe every other
to the
week?
green room or to the Appleton Comedy Club,
Skyline
Comedy Club
Cafe. Maybe we'll do that every other week, and then stay in Green Bay the opposite weeks. I don't know. We'll have to research stand up. We'll have to research open mics.
Max, I gotta ask you, man. I'm pretty nervous for this fucking.
Of course.
But this is. I think this. I think no. I think this is.
Knowing you're nervous makes me go. So am I. But it's not like I'm. Look,
I'm excited. It makes me more excited though. It's like I've never been this nervous for an event, so it makes me very excited because I'm a funny guy, but I've never had to be funny. I've never had to
Well, we've never had to write jokes. We've always had inside jokes, or we've had stories that we've told, or funny stories, but we've never had to actually craft a joke where, you might have a story about your life. And there might be a funny ending, but you have to think, okay, is this funny for me because I know all the characters involved and I understand why it's funny? Or is it literally just a funny story? And if it's funny for just you, then you kind of got to manipulate your story to fit stand-up. And it's not like you're making a lie up and going, I was walking down the street and it's this some lady walked right up to me and we had this wild conversation, and it's a funny, and you write a joke about something that never happened, but it was about this person that came up to you on the street. Or is it like literally a person came up to me and it wasn't the funniest conversation, but it'd be really funny if they said this, and then this was how I tagged it at the end, so that's going to be the joke. So it's like, we got to figure that whole thing out.
Okay, so let me ask you, like, when you think about this, like, monthly stand-up, have you thought about jokes? Have you thought about maybe something that's happened? Or, like, I mean, a big thing I take into this is, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like, be able to tell. At the end of the day, like, people have to realize, like, stand-up's not always truthful. It's a matter of, it's storytelling. Let people need to be, to me, the way I follow a good comedian is a good storyline and a good punchline to that story. Like, that's whether it's truthful or not. And to me, that's like, okay, well, I'll take events that has happened in my life, but stretch it to the extreme.
Right. But you also, I also think of it like you have to stretch it, but you also have to stretch it in a way that's funny. If you're just stretching it to make it to just make it extreme, if you're just stretching a story to be extreme, is it actually funny or is it extreme?
Yeah.
You can stretch a story to be funny, but it's not extreme.
So it makes me nervous.
It's like,
man.
where is that in between? Where is that? But that's the part about it that I think we actually have to sit and write, and maybe it's not even something we do for the show. Maybe me and you just get together like a day before we're actually going up and like, all right, what are you going to say? And we just together we're like, all right, this is what I'm going to say. And if you're like, I don't know how that's going to go, maybe try this.
But that's the hard part, though, because some people may find something funny that you don't find funny.
But we'll never know until we get up there.
I guess to me, what I accepted is the fact, like, I have to be comfortable knowing that I probably am going to bomb.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to be, and I think that's content. Like, you having the GoPro up when I'm up on the stage.
Oh, we're gonna be recording everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When it's gonna be up. We're gonna play it.
I'm normally like I'm a good storyteller because, well, I think I'm a good storyteller because I am a guy who does really believe and run by this the stances. Don't let the truth get in the good of it. Like, I'm really good at fucking prolonging a story and just making a story more than what it is, but
sure,
to the fact of like making it funny. It's funny to some people, but it's like I've never tried to just tell a joke to some random ass motherfuckers. Like, I've never bombed before. I think the biggest part is being able to bomb and just keep going. Like,
right, or being able to. I hate when I'll watch a show. It's called Kill Tony, where they'll pull names out of a bucket for people to come up and they do 1 minute of comedy. And I hate when people get up there and they're like, oh, it's my first time, so cut me some slack if I suck. And they get up there and they suck. It's like, dude, just get up there and suck. If you suck, you suck.
Yeah.
And if you suck, take your lumps. And if you want to improve on it, then you go back home, you try to improve on it, and you do it again the next night. You don't wait till Kill Tony comes back around and pulls your name out of the bucket. Or if you don't want to do it again, you just get up, you suck, and you go, man, that was fun to do. I'm glad I tried it. That was embarrassing. My face was red. I was sweating. But when you're done, at least you can say you did it. And, like, that's how I don't know if I'll take it, internalize it that way when I'm done with it. But in my head right now, I'm like, all right, just get up there. Don't say, like, this is my first time. Sorry if I suck. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not good at this. I'm not good. Just get up there, say your jokes or what you think are jokes. If they bomb, you bomb and you go, all right, was it my jokes that bombed? Was it the delivery that bombed? and then we try again next week. Or
So to me, like, I feel like when I get up there, I'm gonna have to just like I'm gonna think of like personal stories and just have to like wing it. Like I'm gonna totally like I'm gonna like it's hard for me to just make up stories on the spot. I'm gonna have to come up with something that like happened to me, but make it more
or have like, I mean, I don't, I'm not, I have no idea how the process of doing stand-up comedy works, right? But I can only imagine that practicing, not even in the terms of in front of people, but just practicing in your head, writing it out. Write out what you think is going to be your joke or bullet points, and then literally go like if you have a story and it's like, okay, I met up with X, Y, or Z person, X, Y, or Z thing happened, this is the joke. And it's just bullet points. It could just be like, John Smith met at park. And in your head you go, okay, yeah. So this time man, it was, what a day I was having, dude. It was such a fucking shit day, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to walk through this park. And little did I know, I met this fucking guy, and we had this conversation, and he said this, and it made me think, and it's a joke, or something like that.
So I'm 12 years old, right? I'm 12 years old, and I don't really give a fuck at this point. I mean, all my friends are sexually active at this point. I mean, I'm the bottom of the barrel at this point, man. And at this point, I mean, like I need something. I need a story. I need something to give at a party. So this girl, we call her Big Mama at the school, and she's a wonderful woman. But I'm a little white boy, and she's a...
Sorry to cut you off. We got 1 minute and 30 seconds left, so you got to wrap this up quick.
She's a big, beautiful woman. I can't do all this in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
So you were going to go into a bit.
I'm ready. I was into it. I was ready.
You're about to go into a bit.
I'll do this after our next... I'll do it. Full out.
I got you.
Full out after this minute and 18 seconds. 16.
All right,
15.
so we're moving on in our beer process. We'll get back into our next month's challenge of stand-up comedy. Carl's got a funny story coming, but
apparently,
quick, we're going to get into our next step in the brewing process. Transferring. So when our timer goes off, we're going to place our sanitized fermenter next to our pot of wort. We're going to remove...
This is wort?
Yep, that's the wort. The wort in our sink here. Cooling, chilling in our pot of ice and water. We're gonna pour the contents from our pot of wort into our fermenter, leaving most of the solids in the pot. So we're not trying to pour all of the hops and grains and anything
just
left
liquids.
over. We just want the liquids into the fermenter. So then, once we have as much of the liquids into our fermenter as possible, we're going to add cool tap water, drinkable water, to the fermenter until we get to our 1 gallon mark.
Okay.
So it might be a little bit below the gallon mark just because of condensation.
All right, let's do this shit.
All right. So
All right, I'm going to get the camera on.
Yeah. All right, so we've got our pot emptied into our fermenter. There honestly wasn't a ton of solids left in the pot. I do think a decent amount of solids went into the fermenter, but there's really nothing I could have done about that. But what we're going to do now is fill our fermenter with cool water up into our 1 gallon mark, because we're probably at about 3/4 of a gallon right now, and we need to fill the rest of that space with cool, drinkable water according to the instructions. Until the level rises to the 1 gallon mark on the fermenter. All right. Okay, so we have filled up to the 1 gallon mark on our fermenter. And now we need to pitch the yeast. So we're going to cut open our yeast pack with scissors and sprinkle the contents of the surface onto the wort. All right, so now we have sprinkled the contents of the active brewing yeast onto the surface of the wort. We're going to secure the lid to the fermenter and insert the rubber stopper into the center hole. Rubber stopper, center hole. Okay. Wash your pot and store it. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. We don't have to wash the pot. Okay, so we're going to move the fermenter to the location that does not receive direct sunlight and maintains a steady temperature between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Within a few days, bubbles may start forming in the airlock, or a thick foam may rise from the surface of the wort. This is normal part of the brewing of the. Wait, I think I missed this. I missed the spot here. Okay, I've missed a spot in the pitching yeast part. Okay, so we have to fill the airlock with cleanser solution to the fill line and insert airlock in the hole in the rubber stopper. Okay, so we need our other packet of cleanser solution, and we're going to fill our airlock, which is this little thing here. There's a piece that goes on top of it. This piece. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've been a little confused on this step of the process because the instructions just say fill the airlock with cleanser solution to the fill line and insert airlock in the hole in the rubber stopper. So it doesn't say to mix the cleansing solution with water. It just says fill the airlock with cleansing solution. So I'm not mixing with water because I
wouldn't say if it doesn't.
I don't think so. But at the same time, it seems odd to just fill a rubber stopper with white powder.
Yeah.
But I'm just reading the instructions and kind of going off what it says here. So we're gonna insert the airlock in the rubber stopper. All right. And now we clean up and we let it ferment. So move the fermenter to a location that does not receive direct sunlight and maintains a steady temperature between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Within a few days, bubbles may start forming in the airlock or a thick foam may rise from the surface of the wort. This is normal part of the fermentation process. Allow the process 14 days to complete, then move on to bottling days. So we're gonna let this sit for 2 weeks, and then we're gonna start bottling.
Fucking bottling days.
So
Let's go find a spot.
we're gonna find a spot in our HUA stew. So yeah, honestly, I'm not quite sure how that turned out. There's quite a bit of solids at the bottom of our fermenter, and the instructions said to not have a bunch of solids in there. But I mean, it wasn't like I was pouring it out and like.
What are you gonna do?
I wasn't like. I was looking for solids. I was looking for like, all right, don't let this get in there. But
You want a Tarski?
no, I'm good. I'm good.
I should be good too.
Well, what time is it? I don't know what time. 11? Yeah, I'm good.
Oh.
But yeah, no, we're gonna let that sit for 14 days, and then it's bottling day, and that's the next instructions. And then I'm gonna run to the bathroom quick, and then
All right, bud.
clean up a little bit.
Well, we did it. We recorded. We brewed beer. 2 weeks from now, we are going to see what comes from it, man. I think we followed step by step. Did our best. So, hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we did it, man. We brewed some beer. We're gonna find out if we did it correctly. Honestly, I was looking at the bottom of our fermenter, and I was like, "There's too many solids at the bottom of that. There's too many hops and grains and shit at the bottom." But
I guess we'll see.
But I didn't. When we poured it, it wasn't like we were hoping that we just poured it out, and it wasn't like we could have stopped it. We would have needed a strainer, and it didn't say to get a strainer.
Yeah, we don't got no goddamn strainer. I think we did.
I think what we did. So it says. Okay, so as rereading this, gently pour the contents into the from the pot into the fermenter, and maybe by gently they meant like very slowly, but I definitely don't think we just like dumped it.
No, we didn't dump it. We strained it.
But we definitely like just poured it into the fermenter. I don't know if by gently pour they mean to like.
Hey, the beauty of it, man, if we fucked it up, let me try again. But
true.
I don't think, we followed every instruction.
It just looked like a lot
pretty
at the
precise.
bottom. It just looked like a lot at the bottom. That my only thing was like, is there too much at the bottom? Maybe there's supposed to be a little bit, but it's like, don't get it all. I don't know. That's the only thing. I feel like we have followed everything perfectly until that point, which for me personally, the instructions are a little unclear. Gently pour could mean so many different things to so many different people. Just because but just so if you're someone who's like used to cooking things or used to making soups or making, does that mean something differently? Or if you're used to brewing beer, but for a starter, if you need, personally, it's like, should there be no solids or should there be some? I don't know.
I
get hung up on
watching
semantics.
the way we poured it, like, to me that was gentle.
Right, I didn't.
We'll see.
We're gonna find out.
Why? We can't sit here and contemplate it. We have to wait.
We're gonna wait 14 days, and then
2 weeks and see.
We start. So, and then once we bottle it, we have to wait another 1 to 2 weeks.
1 to 2. When can we cool it?
So let's see.
Did it say is there time to cool?
bottling, capping, cleanup, conditioning. So store the bottles in a dark area at 65, at least 2 weeks to carbonate. After 2 weeks, the bottles can be stored in a refrigerator.
So after we bottle it, then we have to toss them into a dark space
for another 2 weeks, and
Okay.
then they can be refrigerated.
So we
have at least 4 more weeks before we can drink this beer.
So a month from now.
Yep.
So hopefully we can chug these beers down before we go on stage to do a stand-up skit.
Right. So what are we going to do in between? Because, I mean, our monthly challenge was to brew beer, and we've brewed beer.
I think this is something to think on.
All right. Hey. Okay.
All right.
Now, this might be a little too much, and you tell me if it is. I have a challenge for both of us. So we have the instructions. I think we should come up with, for next week, our own recipe.
Okay.
Our own, this might be too much.
I'm trying
to think.
Keep
I'm
going,
trying to
keep
think
going.
of. So, you pick out the type of grains,
Okay.
the type of malt extract, and the type of hops,
Okay.
and then, and you don't have to say when to add the hops, but you can say I want it to be a hazy IPA or just an IPA, or I want it to be
double brew.
Well, no, not double brew. We're just going to come up with our own recipes.
Okay.
And then we're going to compare and contrast. And then we'll say if we think what we made is, I don't know, just talk about it.
I think that's a great idea.
And then, so next week we'll talk about the whole brewing process. We'll talk about just what we liked, what we enjoyed doing. Personally, it would have been fun for me to pick out the hops.
Okay.
Going into it and because you just
got the grains, pick out the different ingredients, the different steps into it.
So I think maybe for next week we can pick out our own, just for fun, fantasy, create our own beer.
I think that's an awesome idea.
And then, we'll just talk about it and see how it goes. Because I don't really know, because we don't really have, any weekly challenges for ourselves in terms of, weekly challenges that contribute to our monthly challenge. Because there's really nothing else we can do now except let the brew ferment and brew and do its thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think maybe next week we can do that. And then maybe, after next week, we can be all right, we each have to come up with one joke.
Well, and then next week, hopefully my mini bag toss is in action.
Yeah.
Then we can really get going.
Yeah.
So I think, this episode was awesome for the fact that we just went through the brewing process, and then next week we can just get going on little things. We can, through this week, I think a good weekly challenge for us is to come up with new weekly challenges and things for us to conquer through the weeks.
Right.
And we'll take that on through the bag toss episode. Toss rounds.
Hell yeah. All right, man. So
episode 27.
Episode 27. We brewed beer. We had a beer of the week.
We fucking brewed beer.
We brewed beer, man.
It's
not quite what we wanted right now. But yeah, no, episode 27 was one for the books. We'd never done anything like this, trying to do a live demonstration almost.
Yeah.
While recording, while doing a beer of the week, while doing some beer facts, while doing a joke of the week, doing a little Packer talk.
Different stew atmosphere, man.
Who knows what this is going to actually sound like.
Yeah, it could sound like shit.
It could sound horrible.
Right now, it kind of sounds like it might sound like shit.
It very well might, but it's all part of it.
I think we did a whole different kind of setup than we ever done, dude. I think it's
something even more completely new than our cabin episode.
Yeah.
Because we're actually demonstrating things. We're trying to demonstrate things.
You know what I think it is?
Evolving? We're evolving?
I think it's episode 27.
Episode 27.
Of Hold Us Accountable, dog.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. I know your time is valuable. There's thousands of other podcasts that you could have settled for, but now you're just vibing with two goofy dudes from Wisconsin who like to discuss their problems and figure out ways to solve them, and challenge the listeners to get up out of their comfort zone. Try some shit they ain't done before. This is Hold Us Accountable.
Brew some beer.
Yeah,
you ain't done
this is
before.
Hold Us Accountable.
Brew some beer?
Go.
Hold Us Accountable?
Get up out of your comfort zone.
Episode
Hold Us Accountable.
27.
Let's go.
Hey, we got a good brew coming to you.
Man, we can't wait.
And this is
Citra.
episode 27 of Hold Us
Hell
Accountable.
yeah.